What is up, guys? We are back for the second episode of Off the Bounce. I'm here with my co-host, Hefe Picks. Normally, guys, we have Slam the Bookie. Today, he is traveling to the beautiful country of Costa Rica. So, we don't have him today, but he is with us behind the scenes, so he is here helping us out. Hefe, glad to be here. Just want to let all our followers know that we are brought to you guys by Pure Wage, the best in the business. Definitely check him out and give him a follow.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
get right into last night's recap, Hefe. But first, how are you today?
Doing good. It's a nice, crisp day here in greater New York City. Sadly, we'll get it out right out in the obvious. Bad night for us Knicks fans last night.
Absolutely.
But we will discuss that in greater detail in a little bit. Of course, like Alpha said, shout out to Pure Wage. Thank you for this opportunity. Without him, we wouldn't be here. So make sure you check him out. The best in the business. With that being said, let's hop in right away and recap last night. Alpha, I want to start with the Blazers and the Cavs game. Going into this game last night, personally, I thought the Blazers would show up. I thought they'd have a fire under their ass, and I really thought that they would take it to the Cavaliers without Markkanen. I was wrong. The Cavs won the game 107-104, honestly, behind Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Jared Allen, 24-17, dominant. Evan Mobley, 11-11, dominant. Damian Lillard, I mean, listen, he scored 26 points, but on 27 shots, Alpha. Come on.
It's been a rough start for Damian. It just seems like he's unhappy there. He's not playing with the same kind of urgency we normally see out of Damian Lillard. So I'm curious to see what happens this year. I know we are all aware of the potential trade rumors from last year, all the different stuff surrounding Portland, and the start of this year has not helped that case, in my opinion. So we'll have to see where this kind of goes from here.
But then it's weird, man, because then after the game, he releases this statement, this ominous statement about like how he has this dream of winning in Portland, and because of this dream, and he watched Giannis win in Milwaukee, so he doesn't want to leave Portland because winning anywhere else would not match up to winning in Portland. If I had like a BS meter, some type of a meter right now, that would be number one on that meter. I don't understand. Winning is winning. I think he might be blowing a little smoke. It's definitely going to be a storyline to follow for the year. Let's move on to the Knicks and the Pacers.
Do we have to? Do we have to?
We have to. We have to. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Man, it was just another disappointing game for the Knicks. They were just behind all night, not just on the scoreboard, just on every step of the way in the game. Defensively, they were not rotating well, and offensively, it was just a three-point shooting contest for the Knicks, and they couldn't get any of them to fall. How did you feel about the team last night?
I didn't know that Miles Turner was in a three-point contest this year.
That was unbelievable.
I didn't know that. I was not CC'd on that email. My man went 7 for 10 from the three-point line? Are you kidding me right now? Nobody was going to run up and play some defense on him? And I'm embarrassed by that. I'm really embarrassed right now. Turner hits 7 threes, scores 25 points. We're behind the whole freaking game. And then, by the way, we're down by 14 in the first quarter. We chip a little bit away in the second to make us down 9 at half. Then we chip a little bit more away. Going into the fourth, we're down 5 points. I'm over here thinking, oh man, momentum.
Here
bada
we
boom,
go.
Bada boom. Psych, nothing. Flat. Absolute garbage. We've lost now 2 in a row, and while I cannot go crazy and say this is a must-win on Friday, the 2 jerseys behind me say it's a must-win on Friday. So that's how I feel. I'm embarrassed. The bodies of the team were there in Indianapolis. There was no soul. There was no gut. There was nothing. We just ran up and down the court. Julius Randle actually just ran up and down the court.
Julius Randle this year, just not to get too much into the Knicks. I know me and Hefe here could talk about the Knicks for the entire 30 minutes, but, Julius Randle has not started this year well. 18 points yesterday. He's getting his rebounds, but he plays Randle ball where he just takes everyone one-on-one. He fades to his left. He gets blocked or shoots a brick. Pass the ball, get into your offense, but let's move in. Let's move on past this Knicks game.
Do you want to know why I'm laughing?
Why?
Because I just peeked. Speaking of running up and down the court, and this is the last thing we'll say, I just peeked at Mitch Robinson's numbers last night. He played, guys, ladies and gentlemen, he's played 28 minutes last night, 3 points, 6 rebounds. He was just running track out there. He was just running back and forth. You got to play better than that, and I expect them, especially with Tom Thibodeau as their coach, to play better than that on Friday.
More to come after their next game. Let's transition,
Absolutely.
guys, into the Bulls versus the 76ers last night. A lot of people were on the Bulls, a lot were on the 76ers. It was a pretty split game, it looked like, from the betting perspective. I know, Hefe, you and I were both on the Bulls.
Yeah.
Disappointing finish. We had a last-second chance by Zach LaVine. Had a three-pointer, would have given us all the cover, but it rimmed out. What did you see in this matchup last night?
DeMar DeRozan's playing fantastic for the Bulls. I think it's 3 straight 30-point games. He's meshing beautifully with that system. I saw Sixers team that was empowered yesterday. I saw Seth Curry make shots. I saw Joel Embiid be a presence. I'm impressed with Philly yesterday. Put it quite honestly, I think it's more about the way they played, not so much about how the Bulls played. But keeping the Bulls under 100 points, pretty impressive. They're a really good offense. So hats off to Philly. It was just one of those nights for them.
I'm with you 100%. They played a good game. The problem with me was the Bulls did seem to have a lot of turnovers in that game, especially in the fourth.
Yeah.
I recall DeMar DeRozan had 2 or 3 in the final 5 minutes that were just killer to the team.
Yeah.
He's been outstanding, just got to clean it up a little bit, but it was a great game by the Sixers, like you said. Let's move right along, guys. The next game we have on the slate is going to be a fun one for Hefe to talk about, as well as myself. I got very lucky on this one, guys. It's going to be the matchup between the Mavericks and the Spurs. Hefe, want to give a little rundown of what happened in that one?
Yeah, let me set the scene, everybody. So we had the rare bad beat here where the over and the Mavs cover were both X'd out on a free throw. Let me set the scene.
Not one free throw.
You're right.
Two free throws.
2.7 seconds left. The Mavericks are beating the Spurs 109 to 108. Jalen Brunson gets fouled. He's going to the line. He's the point guard for the Dallas Mavericks. He's actually been playing fantastic over the last 2 days. He is a career 77% free throw shooter. If you can quickly in your head add up 109 and 108, you will get 217. The over-under was 217.5. The cover, like I said before, was Mavs -2. The Mavericks are up 1 at that point. Jalen Brunson shoots the first free throw, brick. Jalen Brunson shoots the second free throw, miss. Rebound Spurs, they heave it, game over right there, right then. Devastating bad beat for anybody on the over and anybody who had the Mavericks. Alpha,
But at the same time, one of our best bets yesterday was that under 217.5. So we got extremely lucky there, guys. But there was about 15 seconds left in that game, and they scored, I think it was 11 points in those 15 seconds. Those final 10 seconds of that game were absolutely wild. The Mavericks this year, their offense is so stagnant, man. They did put up points last night and the game before, but besides these last 2 games, it's been Luka or nothing for this team. When he's been off the court, the offense is not running, they're not moving the ball, and they're just playing ISO and shooting, and it just has been an ugly offense so far. Do you think the Mavs can kind of turn this around, maybe get a couple pieces by trade or some players play into the fold? What do they need to do?
I don't know. We keep discussing this day in, day out. I think the Mavericks do not have that second player, that Robin to Luka's Batman. And I don't know where they're going to get it. I know it's not KP. And I know that their bench isn't deep enough to kind of revolve around Luka and keep them in games, especially against good competitive teams. And no knock against the Spurs, but they ain't going to win the Western Conference. They are on the treadmill of mediocrity, and they have great young players. But the Mavs are supposed to be the Spurs. You know, the Mavs, I don't know who can help them. I look at the trade market, and I really don't see that Robin to their Batman. Do you?
I do not. Right now, I do not. I mean, the best you can hope for is keep KP out till he gets fully healthy, and hopefully when he's fully healthy, he returns and is the force he was when he was with our Knicks. But we just haven't seen that in so long, it's hard to believe that'll actually come through. Yep. So we'll see more to come on that one, guys. Let's move over to the last game we're going to cover from last night's slate, one that was not exactly fun for me. That's going to be the Hornets-Warriors game that ended 114-92 Warriors. I thought we were going to have a lot more points in this one, but the Hornets just came out and did not shoot the ball. What did you have in last night's game, Hefe?
I was not on this game. If I had to lean on it, I would have chose probably the over like you, 2 firepower offenses. My one headline coming out of this game after seeing the result is Jordan Poole has taken a step. And if he could be a competitor like he's balling right now for this team, that's scary. He dropped 31 last night. You got to think when Clay comes back, Jordan Poole might move to the bench. This is lethal for them. If they can get another shooter and a spread guy who can play defense like Jordan Poole can, I mean, they might really be a competitor. And they
Yep.
already were. I'm not trying to make it sound like they aren't alpha, you know what I mean? But you kind of
But
think
they're
about the
not.
Warriors.
They're not currently. You don't put them in your top 3 teams in the West you think has a chance to make the championship
I
game.
agree. I agree with you. And every time we think about the Warriors, we're still, in that phase, when they had the Splash Brothers. But every time I kind of see them play, I'm kind of waiting for them to not look good. And they're 6-1, and they look great, man. They look really great.
It may be time to start giving them a little more consideration, especially if they can keep this run going. And I completely agree with what you said. Jordan Poole, if you put him on a second lineup and he's able to completely run that second lineup, he's going to be absolutely the X factor to taking that team to the next level.
He's a player that we definitely didn't see coming and developing this fast. I mean, remember him in Michigan. You remember he had a big shot in the tournament a couple years ago? I mean, he's always been a big shot maker. Now in the Warriors, kudos to him. Well, that wraps up yesterday's recap, boys and girls. So let's transition on over to tonight's games. And the first one that we got tonight is the 76ers, who they played yesterday, so no rest, hosting the lonely and scrappy Detroit Pistons. I got the line at -3.5. I'm sorry, the game is actually in Detroit. I got the line at -3.5 Philly. What are we looking at? What do you think, Alpha?
This is a tough one here because a back-to-back for Philly, we know how they usually do on back-to-backs, but a Pistons team that is coming in completely underperforming, especially at the point guard position with Cade Cunningham. Does he step it up tonight, Hefe? Is he able to give that team the lift that they need, or are we going to see another 40-point loss by the Pistons that in the third quarter they're already down by 40?
Here's the thing. I got to be honest. There is no way I can put money on the Detroit Pistons right now. I don't care if they're playing the Washington Generals from the Globetrotters. There's just no way I'm going to put money on the Detroit Pistons. Until they can prove to me that they can actually win games and play like a team, I can't take them against the Philadelphia 76ers, even on a back-to-back. I don't know. I think Embiid's playing tonight, so I think they got everybody other than Tobias, who's still out with COVID. The line's 3.5. I got to take the Sixers, man. And it's not even so much about Philly. It's so much more about fading Detroit.
I'm with you 100% here. I think you have to take Philly tonight, especially on a back-to-back. And to be honest with you, if Embiid doesn't play, because we all know he usually does sit out the second night of a back-to-back, I would hit them even harder.
Yeah,
we know how teams have done this year when they're missing their best players.
Man.
And the Pistons just do not have a scoring presence right now. They have Jeremy Grant, who is completely running that team, who a couple of years ago, if you would have said Jeremy Grant is going to be one of the better players in the league, who would have believed you on that? But 100% with you, Hefe. I love the Sixers in this spot. I think the line is a little bit shrunk because of the anticipation we may not have Embiid and on the back-to-back. But I still think we have to hit it because the Pistons are not even competing in games right now.
Totally agree with you. We're on the same page in that one. Next game we got is the Utah Jazz visiting the Atlanta Hawks. Utah coming in 6-1, Atlanta 4-4. I got the line at Utah -2, road favorites. What are we thinking?
To me, this is the game of the night. This is a fantastic game between two teams that are very good in each one of their conferences. I love the Jazz in this spot. The Hawks have been a little disappointing to me this year. Their offense hasn't clicked like it did in the playoffs, and they don't look anywhere like they did at the end of last season. Granted, they've looked okay, but it's not the same level. And Utah defensively has just done so well this year that it's tough to not back Utah. And only by a 2-point line. What do you see in this one?
The Utah injury report right now looks just like a dictionary. I mean, it is so long. You got Mitchell day-to-day, Royce O'Neal day-to-day, Whiteside day-to-day, Jared Butler day-to-day, and Rudy Gay's out. This game is going to come down to the Jazz and how they can play. I don't know. I'm looking and I'm seeing that Atlanta is looking to win 4 in a row at home. They have a really strong home court, and my heart tells me Utah's going to win, but my mind is telling me that I think I got to back the Hawks tonight, man. This will not be one of my best bets, and I'm going to lay off. I agree with you. This is the best game of the night, and because of that, as a viewer, I'm just going to enjoy it. If I had to put my money on somebody, I would back the Hawks at home. Utah's got a couple injuries. You don't know if Donovan Mitchell's truly 100%, even if he does go. He's that type of competitor, that type of dog. He's going to go no matter what. But it's going to come down to the little things in this game, 100%. It's going to be a great game.
Absolutely going to be a great game. For me, watch the guard play on both sides. That's the biggest matchup to me.
Yep.
Can the Utah guards take out the Atlanta guards? That, to me, is the big matchup in this one. So let's see how that one plays out.
Next,
all right, guys, let's
you
take us into it.
All
No.
right. Next, we got Boston, played last night, beat the Magic. At Miami, the hottest team in the league, 6-1, number 1 offense, number 2 defense. The line is 6.5, favoring Miami. It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points, especially when Boston has had their best performance of the year. Well, I should say their best first half of the year. They were a little they led a little bit of a late comeback in their last game, but Miami has been outstanding this year. They haven't missed a beat. Yesterday, you gave a great example of how Tyler Hero has been the sixth man of that team, and I don't think you could be any more right with that one. What do you see in this one?
Okay, so this is the usual, you got the team on a back-to-back versus a team that's at home and rested. The line pretty much indicates exactly that. Vegas is telling you, we don't trust Boston. They beat Orlando. They were supposed to beat Orlando. They're supposed to be tired. They're going to come into Miami, and Miami's supposed to beat them. I can't take 6.5 points. I can't do it. I do have a play on this game. I will let it out right now. It is going to be one of my best bets. Taking Miami in the first half. Boston has been a slow first half team. They've been going on insane runs. Last night, they went on a 33-6 run in between the very end of the second quarter and the end of the third quarter to basically take over that game. They went from down 8 to up 19 on that run. But other than that, they played abysmal in the first half. So for that reason and the firepower that the Heat have, number 1 offense, number 2 defense, I'm taking the Heat first half. That line's at -3.5. I think much more favorable and at least makes me feel like they can cover that. What do you got? What are you thinking about tonight, Alpha?
I love that one, man. If I were to pick a side on this game, I was leaning towards the Heat, but I'm targeting a total in this one, guys. I'm going to be taking the over 214. Boston's defense this year has not been able to cover the three-point line. They're not able to switch well on the defensive end and rotate, and I think Miami does the perfect job of moving the ball around, and they have the shooters on the outside to knock it down. Boston on the other side has some great offensive players as well. I think Tatum should have another big night. So to me, guys, I love the over in this one. I'm taking it at 214.5.
I know that our co-host in the back, you can't see him, but Slam says that the Celtics are his big play of the night. He loves the Celtics plus 6.5 tonight. So take that to the bank, everybody. And make sure to follow Pure Wage on Twitter. The banner's on the bottom. So if you're watching, shoot the man a follow. Best in the business, and the reason we get to be here every day to talk to everybody out there in the world.
Absolutely. Looks like we got 2 left. We have 2 left. Looks like we have Houston traveling to Phoenix tonight in another 10.5 point Rockets line. It seems like every time the Rockets play right now, no matter who they're playing, it's in between 9 to 11 point line. Every night they're on the plus side. What do you see in this one, Hefe?
You're so right. Every time you see the Houston Rockets, you just might as well not even look at the spread, because unless they're playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is the next game we'll be looking at, the line's going to be in double digits. This one's at 10.5. They're visiting Phoenix. Last time we saw Phoenix, they had a miracle cover at home against New Orleans, beating it on the hook at the last second. This is a tough one for me. I saw the Rockets last time really fight and grind with the Lakers. They lost by 2 points, I believe, but it took some miraculous three-pointers in the last couple seconds there by Jalen Green, some fouls here and there, just kind of sloppy play by the Lakers for the Rockets to make it that close. Call me crazy. I think I got to rock with the Suns on this one if I was going to take a side. I know 10.5 is a lot, but the talent just it doesn't add up, and I don't know if the Rockets have it in them to keep covering these double-digit spreads.
I think the best point you said there is to keep covering. If you remember, they played the Lakers twice in a row. The game before that was a 10.5 line as well, which on the last second they knocked down a shot to cover that exactly by the hook at 10. I forgot,
you're right.
So they just keep covering. It's hard to fade them when they're playing better teams. And then last game, they only lost by, 2 or 3 points? So they're bringing it even closer. I have to take the Rockets, guys. I'm running this trend. You're going to give me 10.5 points. I'm going to buy that up to 11 guys at a minus 120. And I like this play. They're playing tough. They're playing hard. There are a lot of young guys. Late in the game, they've been backdooring, and this is the sweet spot number for them. It seems like 10.5 every time they're at that 10.5 this year. They keep covering it. So I'm going to ride it. So give me the Rockets guys at a plus 10.5 at the Suns.
I can't be mad at you for taking that. Statistics and analytically speaking, that is the right play. I just they can't keep covering. The Rockets are the Rockets. They're in a transition mode. They're in a rebuild mode. They shouldn't be in these games, and yet they have been. You're right. They covered the last 2 games in LA. They're traveling to Phoenix. They're playing teams that are way more inferior than them, and they're in every game. It is quite impressive. And honestly, it's probably down to right now Jalen Green. I don't know if he's Rookie of the Year right now, in my opinion. I know it's early. Evan Mobley for the Cavs is playing
outstanding
phenomenal basketball. And I'm gonna have to air you out right now, Alpha. I'm gonna have to air you out. I remember watching the draft. I remember you looking at me. I remember you saying that man Evan Mobley bust. Come on, man.
I did. I didn't think he'd be great.
An apology. You owe him an apology, dude. You owe him an apology.
Maybe after more than 7 games, I'll give you that, but not quite so yet. But I will also say that I also thought Cade Cunningham was going to do very well off the bat. So I'm 0 for 2 in that right now. So
true.
What are we going to? I can tell you right now, if Jalen Green isn't the Rookie of the Year, I can tell you who also isn't the Rookie of the Year, and that's Cade Cunningham.
That's he's not even in the top 5 right now. It's
early
game.
Tonight's
one thing before we move on to the last game, actually, I want to give out my pick on this game, and there's an analytical trend that I love for this game. Phoenix is
another Hefe tidbit.
Hefe tidbit. I love my little nuggets. Suns 5-1 on the under this year. Rockets 6-1 on the under this year. That's a combined 11-2 on unders between those 2 teams. You would think that the under would be low, but it's at 219. I love it. I love it, and I'm taking it. So that's my play on this game. I'm taking the under of 219. 2 teams that are combined 11-2 on the under. Analytically speaking, this is the right play. Hopefully it'll work out for me tonight, because last night it did not. But you got to trust numbers, folks. You have to. Let's move on. Last game of the night, a real beautiful late night 10:30 Eastern Standard tip when the Thunder visit the Lakers. We already know LeBron will not be playing tonight, and this line went from 14 to 10.5 when that was announced. So shows you how important LeBron is. Last time we saw the Thunder play, they played great against the Clippers. Fantastic. They were in the game the whole entire time, leading 95% of the game, and gave it up and ended up losing in the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. Alpha, what are we thinking here? Is this another one where you got to back with the points?
All I know is, guys, can we actually get some decent games to end the night? Every night it seems like all these 10:30 tips, I'm excited. I got the late night. Let me go get a drink, a snack. I'm going to watch this whole game. Let's go. Both 10.5 point lines again. And, the Lakers are going to be without LeBron for at least a week. That team, I think, is going to run better and smoother with him off the court because of Russell Westbrook. That doesn't make them a better team without LeBron James. To me, it makes them a better team without Russell Westbrook. But when they're run by Westbrook and AD, the ball will move more, less ball-dominant players on the court. Lakers line got shrunk to a 10.5. I love the Lakers in the spot, guys. I'm taking them by the 10.5 points over OKC. OKC just has shown me absolutely nothing this year. And the Lakers, I think, will look pretty good with only Russell handling the ball and being able to find AD down in the block. What do you see in this one, Hefe?
So this is one of the games that I have nothing on. It's just a watch and enjoy game for me. It's one of these games where it's going to come down to actually one player and one player only, and he doesn't play for the Lakers. It's going to come down to Shea on OKC. If he's going to play like he played against Clippers the other night, where he drops 26 points, step back, fade away threes, they're going to cover this double-digit spread. They just are. The one thing I'll say is Lakers are 2-6 against the spread this year. A lot of those have been these big double-digit spreads. We just spoke about them blowing 2 of them against the Rockets.
Yes, we did.
It almost seems like they're doing the reverse of playing up to their competition, where they play down to their competition. You know what I mean? Well, I'm sure when it comes to them playing the likes of the Warriors, the likes of the Suns, the Jazz, the elite teams of the Western Conference, they're going to show up and they're going to ball. But when they're playing against these teams like the Rockets, the Thunder, where they're kind of like laissez-faire, LA, Showtime, Westbrook's hoisting up ridiculous shots that hit the top of the backboard.
The signature shot.
The signature Westbrook shot, right? Shout out to
Yep.
Derek Fisher for that one. They kind of like, they don't care. They really don't care. Like these young, gritty teams like the Thunder, the Rockets, they ball until the last minute.
And that leads me. Hold on, quickly. We have a comment in the YouTube right now that's a great comment for this game. Donna Taylor posted, the Lakers will win the first half, but it's anybody's game in the second half. And that's exactly what you're just saying. So let's tie that in. Great comment, Donna. Looks like you and Hefe are on the same page.
Great comment, and exactly what I was literally trying to get to. The Lakers, when it comes to the second half, they just whatever. This shot, that shot. Westbrook's pulling up from the logo. Anthony Davis is playing. He's not playing. They're tossing alley-oops to each other. They just, like I said yesterday, the regular season, it doesn't matter for the Lakers. They're just trying to get through it. They on simulation mode, baby. They're just trying to get to that last quarter of the season where they can rev up for the playoffs and do exactly what they were built to do, win in the playoffs. This team was built for LeBron to do exactly what he's doing tonight. Sit out, and the Lakers still win. Does it mean they'll win by double digits? Well, if I had to pick a side, I'm honestly going to rock with the Thunder, but I'm off this game, and I think that your Lakers might actually possibly get it tonight.
Excited for that recap tomorrow to tell you what I told you so about the Lakers with Westbrook on the court. But that brings us, guys, to the point that you guys have been all waiting for, our best bets segment. We're going to go to our producer, Slam the Bookie in the back, normally host, to put up the best bets little graphic right here, and I'll let Hefe kick off our best bets with his. Do you have 2 or 3 for us tonight, Hefe?
So tonight I am rocking with 3 of them. I do have 3. I'll rock with my first one. I'm taking the 76ers, minus 3.5. Like you said before, if Embiid's out, honestly, I love it even more. It's the Pistons. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Detroit, and I will apologize tomorrow, first thing on the mic. I promise. Next play, I'm rocking with the Heat, minus 3.5. Like I said before, Heat started out strong. Boston starts out flat. They're tired. They played their butt off yesterday. They got the win that they needed to against Orlando. Heat, my first half, minus 3.5 is my second play. And for my last play, I'm taking the under in the Suns and Rockets game. That under is at 219. So I'm taking the under in Suns Rockets at 219. I'm taking the Heat first half, minus 3.5. And I'm taking the 76ers, minus 3.5 for the game. Alpha, talk to the folks.
Love it. All right, guys, I'm going to be taking the Utah Jazz minus 2 as my favorite play of the night. I'm also riding with Hefe for my second play and taking the 76ers by 3.5. And my final play of the night, guys, is going to be the over. 1 second here. Let me get the live total for you. We're going to be taking the over in the Celtics Heat, guys, at 214.5. So those are going to be our 3 best bets each. Thank you guys for tuning in for this week's show. Yet again, we are Off the Bounce, brought to you by Pure Wage, the best in the business. We look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Click the link,
y'all guys
subscribe.
Tomorrow. Let's cash tonight. Like.